So we'll start with constraint. So constraint says constraints are the rules given to validate the data or columns. I'll repeat again. Constraints are the rules given to validate the data. So with the help of data types, we can store the data into the table or rows and columns. And after storing the values into the table, and we have to cross check it. So we can verify it with what? Using constraint. But what? Constraints are the rules given to validate the columns. We have to validate. We have to validate the columns, and that can be done with the help of constraint. And there are 5 types of constraint, same as a data type. In data type also we have seen 5 types, and here with respect to constraint also we have 5. So 5 types of constraint. So the first one says unique. The first one is unique constraint, not null constraint, check constraint, primary key constraint, and foreign key constraint. So we have 5 types of constraint. One is unique, second one is not null, third one is check, fourth one is primary key, and the last one is foreign key. Any idea what is unique? Unique? Any idea? What is unique?
Unique means special or
So we can also, in general term, we can call it a special. That means here we have around 13 people in the group. So everybody's name is everybody's name is unique. Everybody
yeah.
has his name, which means no repetition.
Yes, sir. A different and only single one.
Yes. So it should not be same and it should be unique. Unique is nothing but not duplicate, not repeated. That is called as unique. Not null. What is null? What is null?
Null zero,
Empty, right?
empty,
Empty or zero.
zero,
Then not null.
not empty.
That's it. If it is not null, not empty, that means it should not be empty value. So I'll explain once again. So unique is nothing but there should be no duplicates, no repetition. If it is not null, there should be any value. There should be one or the other value. And then check. What is check? Check.
Yeah, yes or no.
Yes. It's like check, which means, see, we have written many exams during our college days. In the exam, whenever we are left with some extra time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what we will do, from the first, we'll open the booklet. So we'll check whether have I missed anything or not? Question numbers. Have I missed any point? Should I add any point? Should I scratch any point? So we'll check once again, which means it is an extra validation. We know constraints are the rule to given the constraints are the rules given to validate the data columns, but check is an extra validation. We'll see one little later. Then primary key. What is primary key? Primary key. Prime, the main one. Is it right? So primary key.
Yes, sir.
So that is the prime one, the main one. Then foreign key. Foreign key. So primary key is nothing but, for example, in my family, I'm the head. In your family, you're the head. For me, you are foreign key, and for you, I am foreign key. For me, myself a primary key, and for you, yourself a primary key. Is it? Are you understanding what I'm telling? So primary key is nothing but from the same table. So primary key is nothing but we will be having one table, and from that one table, there will be any one column which can be a leader. So we have discussed this in the previous session only. Leader. Any column can become a leader. In the same way, if it is foreign key, that means we will be having some other table, and that is foreign table, not from our table, from somewhere else. So that table can also have a leader. So the second table's leader can also be called as foreign key, and the first table's leader can also be called as primary key. So I'll explain this once again with the theory. So unique constraint says it, it is the constraint which cannot accept repeated or null values. So unique, it cannot accept repeated or duplicated values. So in the column, so we know that we will be storing any records into the table, and from that table we will be having many rows and many columns, and from that columns there should be no repeated values, or there should be no duplicated values. Those kind of columns can be called as unique column. I'll repeat, the column which does not have any repeated or duplicated values, that column can be called as unique column. Then not null. It is a constraint which cannot accept null values. That means it is a constraint which cannot accept null values, which means the column should not be empty. It should have any of the value, one or the other value. It should be filled with any other value, one of the value, because not null, not empty. It should not be empty. That means we have to keep something in that cell or column. So that is not null. Then check constraint. What is check constraint? It says it is an extra validation assigned to the column with a condition. If the condition is satisfied, it returns true. That means it will give the output. I'll repeat again. Check constraint. Check constraint says it is an extra validation assigned to the column with a condition. To the column with a condition. So if the condition is satisfied, it returns the output. It returns true, which means, for example, I'm having the syntax check length of column name is equal to size. This is the syntax. Check length of column name is equal to size. So let's say I'm having phone number. So in the table, I'm having a phone number column. So in this phone number column, if I'm having countable numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, any number, any countable numbers. So directly we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10, 1 to 10. What in case if we have thousands of phone numbers? So we cannot sit for a long time and keep on counting. It is a wastage of time. So in such case, what I'll do, I'll use check constraint. I'll use check constraint. So we know that the length of the phone number should be 10. So I'll use the syntax here on this column. For this column, I'll use check the length. What is the length of phone number? 10. What is the column name? From the table, it will be phone number or phone number. Column name, phone number. What should be the length? The length should be 10 again. So what happens next? The compiler will jump into phone number column and it will count all the phone numbers within a fraction of seconds. Within a fraction of a second, all the phone numbers will be counted. So here we have given the size as 10. That means each cell, each phone number column should have phone number with value 10, 10 digit values. If any of the phone number has values less than 10 or greater than 10. So those cells will be reflected separately. They will be segregated. So it will reflect these are the phone numbers which are less than 10 or greater than 10. So if it is equal to 10, they won't reflect. But the phone number which are less than 10 or greater than 10, they will reflect. So I have to update those phone numbers. Contacting the particular person. So what is your exact contact number? I talk to him. So he'll give us the updated phone number and we will update. So we will update all the error we had. And again, we'll check this one. Check again phone number with whether the length is 10 or not. So again, it will jump into phone number column. It will search for all the phone numbers and it will count. So again, if we find any phone number which is less than 10 or greater than 10, again, those cells will be reflected. And if it is not there, then it does true. That means we will get the proper output. So the same example here also I have written. So check if I'm having Aadhaar card. So consider I'm having a column called Aadhaar card. So check the length of the Aadhaar card, that is 12, whether it is equal to 12 or not. So the compiler will jump into Aadhaar card column and it will count all the cells which has Aadhaar card number, whether it has 12 or not. If it is equal to 12, that's okay. If it is less than 12 or greater than 12, they will be reflected separately, saying that these are the numbers which is having less than 12, which are less than 12 or greater than 12. So I have to contact the person and we have to update it. We have to update the new values. So that is check. Anyways, we don't do it, but we should know. They might ask you, what is check constraint? Then you should answer, it is an extra validation assigned to the column with a condition. This line is enough. This line is enough. So it is an extra validation assigned to the column with a condition. Then coming to primary key constraint. It says it is a constraint which is uniquely identifies the record from the table. So primary key, it says it is a constraint which is uniquely identifies the record from the table. So if I go with any practical example, so consider we have a family. This is the family. One, so that is what? Father, mother, brother, sister. Yeah, it will be. So we have, this is a family. So this is a family. If I go outside, if I go out of the street, and if somebody sees, and that means the neighbors, so they says, who is this boy? They won't tell my name, but they says, he is the son of so and so person. Even though they might be knowing my name, but still they won't tell he is so and so, but they will tell he is the son of this person. Or if a sister goes out, so if somebody says, who is she? Somebody asks, who is she? So they don't tell her name is so and so, or about her. They won't tell about her. They will only tell the first thing. She is the daughter of this person itself. Not even they won't mention mom name. They'll mention father name only. She is the daughter of so and so person. Or if mom goes outside, and if somebody asks, who is she? They says she is the wife of so and so person. Which means here father is a leader. Father is a primary key in the family. So he represents the entire family. Is it right? Do you understand this? So father is a leader. So he represents the entire family. In the same way, in the table, we will be having some columns. We will be having many columns. And from those columns, we have to consider any one column as a leader, so that that particular column will represent the entire table. It's like a CR. So when we were in college or school, even though there was no necessity of a CR, but still we were about to become a CR. And of course, teachers used to ask us ask us, any one of us to be a CR from girls or boys. So for what? Because to represent the class. That's what they say, CR, class representative, CR. So I'm a student actually, but still I'm a unique. I'm a primary student. We have hundreds of students, 100+ students in the class, but still I'm the prime student because I am representing each and every one of the students in the class because I'm the leader. In the same way, here we will be having many columns in the table, and from those columns we have to consider any one column as a leader. I'll tell why. I'll tell why we should consider as a leader. So this is primary key. Primary key is nothing but it constraint which is uniquely identifies the records from the table. So these are the records, these are the records, these are the records. All these records are uniquely identified by the primary key. Is it clear so far? Any doubts till now? Aditya aunty, Dinesh, Ganesh. Any doubts? Hamid, Monica, Madesh, Rebecca, Sudhakar, Anga, Suresh, Warner. Finally, I'm able to tell classes. Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Somebody.
Please explain sector function. This is Arun, sir, myself.
One second. I'll pause it. So that is primary key. Primary key says it is a constraint which is uniquely identifies a record from the table. So we will be having many columns in the table, and from that table, from those columns, there will be a one column which can be considered as a leader, and that column will represent the entire table. Now we'll see what is primary key in details. So there are some characteristics with respect to primary key. You have to pay attention. One now, you have to understand this. So characteristics of primary key. What it says, primary key cannot accept duplicated or repeated values. I'll repeat again. Primary key cannot accept duplicate values or repeated values, which means we know what is primary key. It is a leader column. It is a leader of a column, or we can say leader column. We will be having multiple columns, and from that multiple columns, any one column can be considered as a leader. So if any column was to become a leader, it should have some characteristics. What it should have? It should not have any repeated or duplicated values. The column should not have any repeated or duplicated values. And the column should not have null values. So primary key cannot accept null values. I repeat again, primary key cannot accept duplicate values or null values. Primary key cannot accept duplicated values or repeated values and null values also. See, it's like a characteristics. What is characteristics? If I go with a practical example, consider I want to become a ward member in my gully. If I want to become a ward member, there are some characteristics. What is that? My age should be certain age. It should not be less than certain age. There should be no criminal records on me. There should no criminal records on me. My income should not exceed more than 5 lakhs per annum. 5 lakhs per 5 lakhs per annum. And there are some different, and I should not be a government employee. I should not be a government employee. And I should not have a APL card. I think you know what is APL, BPL? I don't know whether you have or not. And in Karnataka, we have it. Something called APL card, ration card. Ration card are of two types. One is APL, and the second one is BPL. So we have these two. So if I'm having APL card, I am not eligible to become a politician. That means I'm not eligible to become a leader. So everyone should have a BPL card. This is just a rules, but nobody follows actually. But for this example, so if I want to become a ward member, these are all the criteria I have to follow. If everything is satisfied, then I can become a leader. I can go and apply my form. In the same way, here primary key also. So primary key, if any column wants to become a leader, there are some qualities, there are some characteristics, which are the column should not have any duplicated values or repeated values. The column should not have any null values. So you have to remember these two lines. These two lines, no repeated, no null values, which means primary key is a combination of unique and not null constraint. So if any column wants to become a leader, the column should be combination of unique and not null constraint. So this line is important. You have to recall these three. Everything is important actually. These all 5 points I'll explain. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null constraint, which means the table can only accept one column as a primary key. What does that line mean? Can anyone tell? The table can accept one column as a primary key. What does that mean? The table can only accept one column as a primary key. That means each table only one leader, no two leaders. So the table can only accept one column as a primary key. Only one column should be considered as a primary. So if we have two leaders in a family, of course, there will be a lot of fights. So they'll be fighting like, you should listen to me, you should listen to me. But if there is only one leader, everyone will listen to him. So that is, the table can accept only one column as a primary key. So primary key is not mandatory, but it is highly recommended. It is not mandatory. So becoming a CR in a class is not a mandatory, but it is highly recommended. So these are the different characteristics of primary key. I'll explain once again with practicals. With one example, I'll explain once again. But try to recall all these things. So what are the characteristics of primary key? No duplicates, no repeated values, no null values. That means primary key is a combination of unique. What is unique? No duplicates. What is not null? No null values. So it is a combination of unique and not null constraint. So the table can accept only one column as a foreign key, primary key, and it is a not mandatory but highly recommended. So this is the characteristics of primary key. And coming to foreign key. Any idea what is foreign key? Foreign? What is foreign?
Secondary.
A problem.
Yes, from somewhere else. From somewhere else. So it says foreign key is nothing but it is a constraint which is used to establish the connection between two tables. Foreign key. So foreign key says it is used to establish the connection between two tables. So foreign table. So I'll use the same example. So consider this is my family and this is your family and we are all friends. So here, now the same example I have told the previously. So if I'm planning for any trip, I cannot come and ask your father directly. He'll slap me like anything. So what I'll do, I'll send my father because they are friends. My father and your father are friends. So if I want you, that my friend, you are my friend, and I want to go for a trip with you people. But I cannot come and ask him, uncle, I want to. We are planning for a trip. Could you please send him? So send you or her, send my friend. He'll be like no. He'll say obviously he'll say no. But if I send my father to him, so from my family, he's a primary key. For your family, he's a primary key. See, this is my family, and for my family, my father is a primary key. But for my family, your family is a foreign key because it's not my family, it's my friend's family. So he comes to you and he will ask, see, my son is asking like they are planning for a trip. You please send your son also, let them enjoy. Then he will accept. Then we have got the output. That means if it is foreign key, when we want to retrieve multiple data. So we have read one line. According to Edgar Frank code, we can store the data in multiple tables, and we can establish the connection between those two tables with key attributes, which means establish the connection between those two tables. How? Using foreign key. Using foreign key, we can establish the connection between those two tables to retrieve the data. I'll repeat again. Edgar Frank said, we can store the data in multiple tables. That means we can store the data in table 1 also, table 2 also, n number of tables also. And to retrieve those data from multiple tables, we have to establish the connection between those tables with the help of key attributes. What is key attributes? What is key attributes? This is a key attribute. Table 1, leader. Table 2, leader. So I have to join these two leaders using foreign key. I will see how to join them. So that is foreign key. Is it clear so far? Till here? Till
Yes,
here?
sir.
Clear everyone? Arun and team?
Good.
Great. So, and same as the primary key, we have some characteristics with respect to foreign key. We have some characteristics with respect to foreign key. So it is opposite to primary key. Opposite to primary key, which means this foreign key can accept duplicate values and repeated values. It will accept. It will also accept null values. If it is primary key, no duplicate, no repeated, and no null values. But if it is foreign key, it can accept duplicate, repeated, and null values also. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null constraint, but it is not a combination of unique and not null constraint. So the table can accept only one column as a primary key, but here the table can accept more than one column as a foreign key. So the second table, from that second table, any number of people can become a leader. Any number of column can become a leader. But there is a rule. If the from the foreign table, if any column wants to become a leader, there are some rules that says from the foreign key. If a column wants to become a foreign key, that means leader of the second table. If any column wants to become a leader of the second table, it is mandatory for primary key to be on its own table. So you don't understand this. I'll repeat again. If a column was to become a foreign key, if any column was to become a foreign key, it is mandatory. It is mandatory for primary key to be on its own table. Even though if I explain now, you don't understand this. I'll explain within 5 minutes. One second. So foreign key present in child table, but it belongs to parent table. I'll also explain this one. So foreign key is also called as referential integrity constraint. So remember this line, referential integrity constraint. You will get this line once again in PLSQL. You will get this line once again in PLSQL. Referential integrity constraint from triggers topic. So in PLSQL, we have something called triggers. So from that triggers topic, you will get this line, just a line. There is no use of that. So I'll explain these 3 lines with one example. What are the 3 lines? If a column was to become a foreign key, it is mandatory for primary key to be on its own table, and foreign key is present in child table, but it belongs to parent table. Foreign key is also called as referential integrity constraint. So one second. This is the example we have. So now I'll explain once again. What is foreign key? What is primary key? It cannot accept duplicated values, repeated values. It cannot accept null values. Primary key is a combination of unique and not null constraint. The table can accept only one column as a primary key. It is not mandatory, but highly recommended. Then foreign key. Use it to establish connection between 2 tables. There are some characteristics with respect to foreign key. So characters with respect to foreign key, and these characters are, these can accept duplicate values and repeated values. Both repeated and duplicated value can be accepted, and null values can also accepted. It is not a combination of unique and not null constraint. So it is completely opposite to primary key. Foreign key is completely opposite to primary key. The table can accept more than one column as a foreign key, but if a column was to become a foreign key, it is mandatory for primary key to be on its own table. So foreign key is present in the child table, but it belongs to parent table. It is also called as referential integrity constraint. So I'll explain these 3 lines once again, and all the points once again. So we have read that foreign key and primary key. So what is primary key? Leader of the first table. Leader of the first table. So whichever the table we will consider as the first table, that is a parent table. Always. So if I'm having table 1, instead of having table 1, so this will be the parent. If I'm having table 2, so this will be the child of the first table. Or if I'm having table 3, this will be the grandchild of table 1, that is P. Again, it goes, if I'm having table 4, again, P is again grandchild of table 1. So that's how it goes. The first table will always be considered as parent table. So now here we have one table called employee table and a second table called department table. So in these employee table, we have some data like this. We have employee number, employee name, salary, phone number, and department number. So this is table 1. This is table 2. Table 1 is a parent table. So here I have written, this is a parent table, and this is child table. So what is the first rule of first character of primary key? First character of primary key. What is primary key? It is a leader of the table. Now we have a table and we have to consider any one column as a leader, but we have to validate them. We have to follow the characteristics, which means if any column wants to become a leader, it should have some characteristics. What are the characteristics? The primary key should not have repeated values and duplicated values. So we'll go with this one. So we have 5 columns, and from these 5 columns, we have to consider any one column as a leader. Now we'll see what are the characteristics with the column. So the first column is employee number. Employee number. Do we have any repeated values here? Check and tell. Do we have
No,
any?
sir.
No, sir.
No. Can I say it is completely unique? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is no repetition.
Yes, sir.
There is no duplicates. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes,
means this employee number column is satisfied with unique. Yes, it is unique. It is unique. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
So we have the second constraint, not null. So we know that primary key is a combination of unique and not null constraint. Unique and not null constraint. So this column is passed with unique, and now we will check, is there any null values or not? Any null values? Empty values?
No,
Which means
Okay.
this column is also satisfied with not null.
not null.
So now this column can become a leader. It is eligible. So combination of unique and not null constraint can become a foreign key, can become a leader. Now this employee number column can become a leader. It is eligible. But I should not decide this is a column. This is a leader because I'm having remaining 4. I have to check with them also. I have to check the eligibility. Is it right? So I'll check with the
Yes,
second.
sir.
Yes, employee number. Again, unique. Is there any unique values here? Unique?
Yes.
Unique?
Yes, sir.
No. Check once again. What is unique? No repeated, no duplicates.
No, repeated, sir.
Yes,
Repeated.
duplicates. G is
G.
repeated. A is also repeated.
Yeah,
Then it
repeated.
is not satisfied. It is not satisfied. Then not null. Yes, it is satisfied. But not null. There is no empty value. All the values are filled. But still,
Yes, sir.
it will be the combination of unique and not null constraint. If there is no unique, it is ignored. So it is ignored. That means eliminated. Column ename column eliminated. Jumping to third column, salary. Is there any unique values? Unique. No duplicates. Unique?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It
It is.
is not repeated, sir. It is not repeated.
Yes. Unique.
Duplicate, not.
There is no duplicate. There is no
Yeah,
duplicate.
so
2,000,
so
4,000,
unique.
6,000, 10,000. It is unique. So this is passed with unique. Is there any null
But
value?
not. But null is there.
No.
Here we have null
Yeah,
value.
null is there.
So this is also not eligible.
The empty field, sir.
So it is having empty. It should not have empty values. It should not have repeated values. So here this
Yes, sir.
salary column is not repeated. But there are some cases that consider we are all students and we will get placed in some company as a fresher. Of course, everybody's salary is same. If it is 3.5 LPA, monthly I'll get 28,000. Of course, even you will get the 28,000. But there are some chances that we have the salary also duplicate. So this column is also eliminated. So 2 columns eliminated. Jumping to phone number column. So we have phone number. Will there be any duplicate values in phone number? Duplicates?
No, sir.
No. No phone number will have a duplicate values, which means it is all unique. So this phone number column is satisfied.
Unique.
Is there any null values? Null? Empty?
No, sir.
No, there is
There is
all
no
fields are
null. So these phone number column is also satisfied with not null, which means combination of unique and not null constraints can also become a primary key. So this is also eligible. 2 columns are eligible to become a leader. But still we have one more column. Let us check with that one also. Department number. Is there any unique? Is there any duplicates? Duplicates?
Yeah, the last 2 columns.
Yes. This is
34 and 5.
This is 10. This is 10. Is there any duplicates? Yes.
repeated,
Yeah.
sir. Repeated.
And
Repeated and
repeated.
empty.
Null value also.
And also we have null here. There are some values which are repeated, and there is also one null. So
And
this
empty field also, sir.
not a eligible column. Now we have 2 people. We have finalist 2, employee number and phone number. From these 2 numbers, which column can be considered as leader, primary key? Based on the advantages, not on the disadvantages. Of course, we have to check both advantages and disadvantages. So we have to check both, and based on that, we have to decide. So which column can be considered as leader?
Employee number.
Why?
Sir, it's not repeated values,
Yes.
and then there should be no empty fields,
Okay.
and there is no null, not null.
Yes. So I'm
Which three
asking
values?
which one? See here, both are same. Whatever the points you have said is correct, and that applies with phone number column as well. That applies with phone number column as well. But there are some chances that our phone might be stolen, our number might be changed. Is it right?
Yeah.
That's right.
See, I'm using the phone since 15 years. I don't know how many SIMs I have changed. Same with you also. Everybody had changed n number of SIMs. And of course,
Yes,
in the
sir.
future, we might change. But so I'm working in a company since 2 years. I have changed 3 companies, but my PF ID is same. My employee number might be
Yes.
changed. If I'm staying in the same company, my employee number will be same. If I'm staying for 1 year,
Sure.
same employee number, 10 years, same employee number, 30 years, same employee number. There is no change. But in that 30 years, my phone number might change. Is it right?
Yes,
So
sir.
considering the advantages and disadvantages, employee number will be the leader of this table. Employee number
Okay.
will be the leader of this table. That means this employee number column can represent the entire table. So done with primary key. Clear with primary key?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now coming to foreign key. See, I have written wrong here. It is not PK, it is FK. Consider this is FK, it is not PK. And here I have written FK, it is PK. I have to change this. It is PK, it is FK. So what is FK? Foreign key. What is foreign key? Leader of the second table, child table. So we have read few points regarding foreign key. Foreign key is used to establish the connection between two tables. So foreign key is not a combination of unique and not constraint, which can accept duplicate values also, null values also. There is no null. And there is one more point. If a column was to, the table can accept more than one column as a foreign key. That means this child table, from this child table, this department number can also become a leader. Department name also can become a leader. Location can also become a leader. All these three can become a leader because there is no rules for that. There is no rule. No duplicates, no unique, nothing like that. All the columns can become a leader. But if a column was to become a foreign key, that means if any column was to become a leader from the child table, it is mandatory for primary key to be on its own table, which means from this table, if any column was to become a leader, that column should also be present in primary key table. I'll repeat now once again. If this is a child table, from this child table, all the column can become a leader. All the column can become a foreign key. But there is a rule. If any column wants to become a leader or foreign key, it is mandatory. It is mandatory for primary
Key.
on
Key
its
column.
own table. That means if this column, for example, here I have department number. If this column was to become a foreign key, the same column name should also be present in employee table. Do we have department number here? Department name here? In employee table, do we have department name?
No.
No. So this cannot become a leader. Ignore. Location. So if this column, location column also become a leader, foreign key, the same column name should be in the primary table. Do we have location in the employee table?
No.
No. So that is also ignored. Then coming to department number. So these department number can become a foreign key because the same column name is also present in primary key table. Is it right? We have department number here, and here we have department number. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's what the line said. If a column was to become a foreign key, so if a column was to become a foreign key, it is mandatory for primary key. So for the primary key, it is mandatory that to be on its own table. That means the foreign key table, the foreign key column should also be present in primary key table. So then only that column can become a foreign key. So as of now, the leader of this table is employee number and leader of this table is department number. So, and the common column. So using this common column, we will join the tables. So this is foreign key now, same column. So using this department number from department table, department number from employee table, we will join the table. We'll see how to join the table in upcoming classes. So that's what foreign key. What is foreign key? Used to establish the connection between two tables. What is the connection? Department number from the employee table, department number from foreign table. That is department table.
Okay.
So using these two columns, we will join the table. And using by joining these two tables, I can retrieve the I can retrieve the details from employee table also and details of department table also at a time. Okay, and once again, this one, Edgar Frank rule. It says we can store the data in multiple tables. We can store the data in multiple tables. Yes, I have stored some data in table 1 and also in table 2. And we can establish the connection between those two tables. Connection. What is the connection? Foreign key. Between those two tables using key attributes. What is key attribute? Leader of the first table and leader of the second table. What is the leader of the first table? There is employee number or department.
Employment.
We can say we can consider anyone. And here department number is a foreign key. So this is foreign key. And then there is one more line we have read. Foreign key present in child table, but it belongs to parent table. So this is child table. This is the foreign key present in child table, but this belongs to parent table. Is it right? So this is the column I'm considering as a foreign key just because the same column has in same column we have in employee table, which means this might be present in child table. This foreign key might be present in child table, but it is completely belongs to parent table. So that's what this line says. It is also called as referential integrity constraint. Foreign key is also called as referential integrity constraint. What is referential integrity constraint? What we are referring? Referring this department number with this department number. Referential integrity, connecting constraint. We can say referring the constraint or connecting the constraint. So this is foreign key. Clear so far?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. Yes.